All right, so folks, welcome. This is Franklin Goodrich of HospitalityRockstars.com, where we showcase talent and highlight greatness. And boy, do we have one for you here today. I'd like to introduce us all to the one and only Mr. Martin R. Resnick of the Martin fame. He's a titan in the business and also the chairman of the board at Martin's Caterers. He has Martin's East, Martin's West, Martin's Crosswinds, Martin's Camelot, Martin's Westminster, and Valley Mansion by Martin's.
All part of the industry.
All part of the industry.
I don't know if I belong here. You said the great. You used the word great there.
The word that I really wanted to use was a titan, because you built this empire from the ground up, Mr. Resnick.
Not without a lot of help.
A lot of help, definitely. So where did the idea of a catering company come from?
Very unique thing happened. My father was in the business, and I was never in the business with him, unfortunately. But he was in the industry, and I was working for the Heck Company. I was a buyer of women's sportswear and dresses for 9.5 years for the company. Plus I had other background before that. And I was looking for an investment, and I had saved $19,000. And I thought I would then build a catering facility, not to cater, but to use other caterers to cater, strictly as a place for other caterers to cater. I'd be in the rental business.
Wow.
And that was how it started.
Just like that.
Wasn't exactly just like that, but it was very similar to that. I could maybe go on, without you asking a question, I could probably go on all day.
But just, I mean, from $19,000 and just having a hall, and then from this, the empire just started to take on its own roots. But so at what point did you know that you were going to be successful?
I never looked at it in that manner. Successful, I wanted the business to be successful. Nothing to do personal. I was looking for an investment, and there I wanted to build a catering facility because my father was in the industry, other caterers were in the industry, and looking for places to have their events. And since this place was available, and I was able to lease the facility, I then thought, well, I would then build a facility, have other caterers come in, and lease the facility from me, having no idea about leaving the Heck Company, which I love very much.
Yes, sir.
And what happened basically was that my father was in the catering business I had mentioned on Blair Road, Overly Caterers. He had a fantastic relationship with the people. They loved his services, and when they heard my name, Resnick, they thought we were connected, and more people were coming to me now. When I went to look for the hall rental to get this, just to sell the facility, or to rent the facility, they heard the name Resnick, they looked at my catering facility.
Yes.
I spent more time telling people I wasn't a caterer. And so I decided to talk to my brother-in-law who worked for my father. Give me your menus, give me your prices. And I would then, those who asked my catering service, I'll then book the catering, give you the job, you'll do the catering. And I added $1 per person to his prices with my hall rental.
Wow.
So he got his money, I got mine.
Awesome.
And that's how I started. Unfortunately, I was booking all these parties with catering.
Yes.
No idea of the business, but my father was successful because he did things other caterers were not doing. And so, I decided to go work with him, not for pay, to see what he was actually doing. And so I saw on Friday and Saturday, when I go out there to see what he was doing, I then would tell people what I was going to be doing, since he was doing those things.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I'm booking more and more of this business with catering, fully contemplating to turn this business over to my father and my brother-in-law. Unfortunately, they were too busy to handle it. Mm-hmm. They came back to me and said to me, we can't do the work here at the parties. I could not give to any other caterer because the other caterers weren't doing what my father was doing because he was so successful. So it meant I had to go into the catering business to do what I was promising people they would get. And I went to my Heck Company and I told them my problem, and they said, don't worry about it, we'll keep you on full salary. Do the business you have to do. When it's over with, you'll come back full time. And they kept me on full salary. Unfortunately, one party brings to another, and it didn't get better, it got worse, right. Meaning more parties were being
Yes,
booked.
sir.
And so I stayed with it, what I am today.
Incredible. Incredible, Mr.
All by
Resnick.
accident.
All by accident. And here we are sitting right here behind one of your trademark chandeliers by accident.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell us about your first event.
The first event was in June the 20th of 1964. And we had two parties booked on that Saturday night. One started at 7, the other started at 9. One was the Home Improvement Association, the other was a bowling banquet. And we were at the last minute still trying to get the facility up to date, get it ready. And we had the carpenters and wallpaper people and the contractors working up until 5 minutes to 7 in the terrace room. And they walked from the front to the back. As they walked out the back into the kitchen, which was in the back, they then went into the front of the other room, which is the camellia room, which started until 9. The first guest walks in at the 7 o'clock party. And now we have another party starting at 9. And the same crew now is going over to the work in the camellia room from front to back.
From the front to the
and
back.
as they leave, go back into the kitchen, the first guest walks in for the 9 o'clock party.
That's just amazing.
An exciting day. It was a tough day, worrying about whether you're going to make it or not.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we made it.
Wow. Great story, Mr. Resnick. And the rest is history. That's just an amazing start for your first event. 1964.
June the 20th.
Yes, sir. June the 20th. Folks, if you're just joining in, dialing in, we're with Mr. Martin R. Resnick of the Martins fame, of the Martins family, with 6 locations here in the greater Baltimore area. And we're having a discussion with this titan who built an empire from the ground up. And if you're in the Maryland area or the tri-state area, chances are you visited one of these locations for a prom, for a wedding, as a guest. Here is the man who built it all, Marty. So
Before you go any further,
yeah,
I have to correct you.
go ahead.
Marty Resnick did not build it all. You don't build anything without other people helping you.
Yes.
Without other people's helping you, without your and there were many ways to help. People did help. One is the fact that I needed money. I'd only saved $19,000. I needed $44,000. And so I went to the SBA and I borrowed $15,000 from the Small Business Administration. People said to me, SBA, that's a government agency. Who do you know there? I said, nobody. They said, well, they're not going to get the money. Well, I went anyway. And interestingly enough, they liked the concept. They loaned me the $15,000. But I needed $10,000 more.
Right.
So I went to 10 friends, asked each one for $1,000, and I raised my other $10,000.
Wow.
That was a total of $44,000.
That's just sheer determination.
Sheer
determination.
And fun.
That speaks a lot to people trying to start up in the business today, just having that never quit attitude and not just taking that first no as the only answer they're going to get. But we've come to know, and people who visit your locations, they come to know that you have core philosophies. You have one that people know in the industry, it's a never say no as one of your core philosophies.
Right.
Where did that come from?
I guess it comes from so many different things. And only one thing that makes it start. You have to realize that people want to hear positive attitudes, not negative. And try to be positive and always being responsive to their clients, responsive to your clients, your customers, to your employees. And it doesn't mean you never can say no, but what you do, you try to find ways that would be more helpful to help them solve the problems you're looking for.
Yes.
What the problem may be, to solve their problem.
So give us one of your never say no moments, Mr. Resnick. I know you have, it's probably tons, but what's one that stands out?
There were a couple of things that would say where the never to say no policy was kind of fun and interesting. The governor, Schaefer,
The late governor of the state of Maryland.
Had banned rockfish from the Chesapeake Bay. And knowing that when a customer asks for anything, we do it. If you ask for something on the menu and we don't have, we will get you what you asked for. So he came that night, and knowing that we had a ban on rockfish, he said he wanted rockfish. well, what do we do? I don't want to say no. I went out to the front of the building, and you know at Martin's West it has these white rocks on the. I picked up one of the small white rocks, brought it back into the building, put it in the dishwasher, scrubbed it, sanitized it, cooked a piece of fish, and took fish and put it on top of the rock and gave him his rockfish. And so we, again, not saying no to the client.
Right.
But again, he was kind of unusual because he had another request several months later. Mm-hmm. He had come back from Japan, and he had fried eel. So he asked us for fried eel. Well, so the waitress goes back into the kitchen and said, the governor has asked for fried eel. Oh, wow. What can we do? We never say no. The chef was very brilliant. He went into the refrigerator and he found pickled lox. He took the pickled lox and he washed it. He scrubbed it. He breaded it. He then put it into the fryer and he sent it out in a plate. And we said to the governor, here is your fried eel. He ate the fried eel off the plate. He said, this is the best fried eel I've ever eaten. He wanted more. We had to go back to the kitchen and get more. He had a big plate, and he walked around with a fork to everybody at the head table to make sure they sampled some of the fried eel. Funny story. There's a lot of stories just like that.
Wow. Wow. It's legendary, Mr. Resnick. Now, coming up, and you mentioned Governor Schaefer, everyone in Maryland knows the man, who he was and what he bought. Who are some of your other mentors, some of the other people that hunkered down with you?
I mentioned the SBA was important to my life because they gave me money when I needed it. There's no question that the training that I had prior to going into my own business, the mentors who I worked with when I was in the retail business, such as my first business was in Sears Roebuck. Then I went to work for a company that I was there for 2.5 years, learning system controls, management, personnel, and marketing. And then from there, I went to work for a company called H.L. Green McCrory, variety stores. And then from there, I went to work for the Heck May Company, and I became a buyer for women's sportswear and dresses for 9.5 years. Working for those 3 companies taught me, as I mentioned, systems, controls, management, personnel, and marketing. Nothing about food. But using those 5 principles of business can almost help you in any business you go into.
Sure.
And realizing that I had no experience in the food service industry, I then hired people from New York. The first person I hired was a man named Stuart Fisher, who was a very experienced person. And there were 2 more people who came down from New York, who I hired in September of 1965. And they taught me things I didn't know about food. I taught them things I knew about system controls and business.
Wow.
And together, it made the business successful.
What a story. I mean, that's great. I mean, no food experience, but a lot of business experience. You find people that have the food experience, but not a lot of business experience. You bring the 2 together, and just with that determination, that dream and vision, voila.
Without the people who taught me and worked with me and trained me in the retail business, who taught me the mechanics of business.
Yes.
And without the wonderful knowledge and experience of the people I brought down, who came to work for the company to teach and train me and our staff, no question the business could not have existed.
That just speaks volumes to people trying to do it by themselves or do it alone. And, no man's an island. You got to have some partners to help expand the vision. So, the brand.
Yes.
Just the Martin's brand after 53 years. What would you talk about the brand? What is the Martin's brand?
I just think it's quality service at a price that people can afford. Making sure that your staff understands what your goals and objectives are. They come on board to feel the same way you do. Give them that great service to the client. And I think giving a quality product and a great service in a fantastic facility.
Wow.
Well, you'll attract people.
Yes, yeah. Facilities.
And never forget how you got there. Never forget who made you, what made you, and so you don't forget that these are the same principles that started with. It never ends.
So there's a story, and I see it played out, and your employees talk about this. Whenever you see people that work under the Martin's umbrella, you hug them.
Yes.
Why?
They're my family. It's my extended family. I have children, have grandchildren, have great-grandchildren. Whenever I see them, they get a hug. If they're my family,
Yes.
and I'm living with more, I probably spend more time in my business with the staff, they become my adopted family.
Yes, sir.
And so therefore, if they're my family, I want to hug them. They don't have to hug me if they don't want.
But they're getting hugged.
It's interesting. In all the years I've been in business, the 53 years, I've only had one person ever say, I'd rather you not do that. And we asked them first if it's okay. After about a month, she said to me, I take that back. I would like you to put me in the class, everybody else. I want that hug.
There you go.
It was very nice.
Breakthrough. What is one thing about Martin Resnick that no one knows?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if there's anything that no one knows about me. I think I'm like a book. I say what's on my mind. I'm frank with my friends, honest with my friends. I am with my employees and my staff. I don't know if there's anything so different, unless you can maybe refresh my memory, something I may have talked to you about.
I'm trying to find out, just like everyone else tuning in, paying attention to how a person with partners and determination can do what you've done over the past 53 years. We're learning. So if someone came to you and they're just starting out in the business, they said, Marty, I'm just starting in the catering business. I need some advice. What's the first thing that you would tell them?
Make sure you surround yourself with people who are knowledgeable. Make sure you understand that people are appreciative of service. People, you know that in any business, not just the food business, I think any business, the same qualities, working hard.
Yes.
Dedicate yourself to the client.
Yeah.
Dedicate yourself to your employees. Do the right thing. And most important thing is understanding, appreciate your clients, appreciate your customers. Hear what they have to say. Listen to their complaints and criticism. Sometimes I'll tell my friends a lot of times who have been to parties, please tell me what you saw that maybe I can improve upon. Some people don't want to tell you. They may have seen things, they won't tell you about it. To me, a great friend is one who was more than happy, particularly when you ask for it, to give you constructive criticism.
Yes.
Even if you don't ask for it. A good friend will tell you when they come to one of your places of business, something they saw that you should know about. Because you can't be there all the time.
Right.
You need your staff, you need your friends, you need your customers to tell you maybe areas that you don't have, not what you would expect it to be, where they can make sure in the future those things change.
Indeed. That information transcends industries. It's not just, toward the catering industry.
Absolutely.
That goes everywhere.
Any business.
Fine words, Mr. Resnick.
In the retail business goes the same thing to retail business.
Yes. I'm a believer. That's why we're talking to you. We want to know. If you have to start the business all over today,
Right.
what is one thing that you would do differently?
Quite frankly, that's a good question, but I have to think about that. But I don't know offhand. I can't tell you what I would do differently. I think the most important thing that happened, I think, was the background. And I would think that's good for any person in the business to make sure that before you go into your own business, you work for others. Learn what you have to learn. They will teach you. Look for the mentors. Look for people who will train you.
Yes, sir.
Look for people who will. But it's got to be your attitude. Why would somebody want to show you what to do or help you with what you're doing? It's ought to do with your attitude. That you're a good listener. That you, when people give you a job to do, don't see how long it takes you to do it, but you see how fast you can do it. Do it well and get back and say, now what else do you want me to do?
Right.
It's that positive attitude. Your mentors will be positive to you, and they'll teach you, they'll train you, and I have found that it's attitude, your work ethic, your ability to get along with people, and I can remember that when I worked for others, when my bosses asked me for something, I would stop what I was doing, take care of their job, what they wanted me to take care of, and I would try to get back to them the same day, the next day, 24 hours later, if at all possible.
Wow.
And so respond to what they're looking for, your
Yes.
bosses.
Yes.
They'll respond to you.
Anyone can take that information today, bury it in their spirit, and grow from that, no matter where you're working this stuff to learn before you branch out on your own.
I work with young people. I
Super.
work with young people, in both in Morgan State University,
Yes.
also with a school we adopted, Riverview Elementary School.
Yes.
And the most important thing you tell them is that don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid that just because somebody else does something a certain way, if it isn't right, you don't have to copy that way. Be more positive. Have a great attitude, great disposition. Smile, be happy. Take constructive criticism. Thank people for their ideas and suggestions they give you, help you improve. It's how you treat others, how they'll treat you.
Indeed. Indeed, Mr. Resnick.
You can call me Marty today.
Marty. Indeed. Final question.
Yes.
And just thank you so much for taking the time to teach us and to give us a peek into your, your business prowess and, your own core philosophies. And this is stuff that is just timeless that anyone can grab and grow with. Do you have any regrets?
Good question. I can't think of any regrets I've had in business. Regrets about the negative things that happen in our people's lives. But as far as the business is concerned, I think it's all been positive. I think I love what I do. It's very tough on the family, but I always felt like I love what I do. I love the people I work with. I love my clients I talk to.
Yes.
It's a fun business. It's the only business in the world that I know of, the catering business, where every day is a happy occasion. The people you book the parties with,
Yes.
the guests who come, you take care of them, you have happy people. And so it's a happy environment. And so there are very many businesses I don't know of any business where every day is a happy occasion. Dealing with happy people.
Every day.
And so there's nothing I regret about this business.
No regrets. You guys heard it here.
None at all.
No regrets from Martin Resnick, the man who built the empire. This is Franklin Goodrich of HospitalityRockstars.com. We are an online magazine who showcases talent and we highlight greatness. And you heard it right here from this fine gentleman today. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Any last words?
No, thank you for the opportunity to express my feelings. Next time, do me a favor.
Sure.
I want you to give me all the questions ahead of time so I can prepare and do a better job. Because whenever I do, I want to do a good job.
There you
I want
go.
to be the best of what I can be.
Always growing.
And I don't think I'm the best interviewer. So a little background, like it did in business, that experience, the background, knowing what you're doing, getting what is so much better in helping you do a better job. Yeah. So give me the questions next time.
I give them to you ahead of time.
I'll do a better job in being interviewed. And thank you.
A plus, 100%, Mr. Resnick. Thank you so much, Marty.
My
What
pleasure.
Awesome.